Today the biggest news comes from Vovchansk. Here Russia renewed its offensive efforts to capture Vovchansk, but its advancement quickly stalled and its losses began to skyrocket. To compensate, the Russians started to copy Ukraine's use of ground drones, and the first use cases were confirmed, but with doubtful results. Russian forces started deploying ground robots to boost their troops, as confirmed by footage from Ukraine's 57th Brigade that suggests an active attempt to replicate Ukrainian tactics. First, the Russians deployed a ground drone armed with a machine gun to assault the Ukrainian positions, while they also dispatched another ground robotic system to provide logistics to their frontline troops. However, both drones were spotted by Ukrainian drone operators, who subsequently targeted and neutralized the enemy equipment with precise strikes with FPVs. These developments show how Russians are desperate to catch up and copy the evolution of Ukrainian ground drones and their tactics that already yield results. The Ukrainian 1st and 3rd Corps, together responsible for holding approximately 25% of the front line, have set the example and are increasingly substituting manpower with unmanned systems. They are employed not only for both offensive and defensive tasks, but also to support logistics, conduct medical evacuations, and remove mines. This shift reflects a deliberate effort to offset personnel constraints and protect human lives while maintaining operational coverage and effectiveness. Russia has increasingly started experimenting with ground-based drones as a response to mounting casualties, which are now estimated at approximately 33,000 to 35,000 soldiers per month. The scale of losses is underscored by a striking 40% year-on-year surge in military obituaries published in Russian sources, highlighting a sharp deterioration in personnel sustainability. While these losses have largely been offset by recruitment until recently, last month marked the first instance in which recruits fell slightly short. This has sounded the alarm for the Russian command that replacing manpower will be more difficult from now on. After nearly a year of relative dormancy along this sector of the front line, Russian forces renewed offensive operations to penetrate closer to the regional capital, Kharkiv. While Russian sources claim full control of Vovchansk, approximately 25% of the town remains contested. Russia's operational intent appears to be the consolidation of these territorial gains to establish a staging area for potential follow-on operations towards the next bigger settlement, Vilcha. Despite several unsuccessful infiltration attempts towards the village, the Russian officers have hurried to report to their command that they have already captured it. However, Ukrainian soldiers on the ground reported that these infiltration efforts were detected and successfully repelled, leaving Vilcha under firm Ukrainian control. Geolocated footage from the outskirts of Vovchansk shows how the Ukrainians are using drones to counter the Russian activity and protect the settlements behind. Ukrainian operators are systematically targeting enemy personnel and logistics in the Russian rear to disrupt supply lines and operational support and slow down the offensive momentum. Firstly, the Ukrainians set up ambushes with fiber optic drones, waiting on the ground until the Russian soldiers get closer and then strike them at the right moment. Secondly, Ukrainian drones are controlling the crossing points on the Vovcha River and strike every Russian soldier who tries to cross it. Moreover, Russian buggies are hunted down with priority to stop them from quickly entering the town and taking cover. To counter the Ukrainian drone activity, Russian forces are attempting to infiltrate Vovchansk under the cover of darkness to reduce exposure. Unfortunately for the Russians, Ukrainian drones are equipped with thermal imaging and night vision capabilities to detect and neutralize these attempts. With this systematic approach, the Ukrainian forces are significantly reducing the enemy manpower and preventing them from accumulating enough forces inside Vovchansk. The severity of the situation is confirmed by recently deployed soldiers from Russia's 82nd Motorized Regiment, describing a battlefield marked by extreme danger and heavy losses, with Ukrainian held positions characterized as near impenetrable fortresses. According to the statement they released, only about half of the troops sent on this mission survive, underscoring the severe attrition they face and issuing sharp grievances against their command and its reckless planning that exposes them to certain death. Overall, high Russian casualties have compelled their forces to emulate Ukrainian tactics, prompting experimentation with ground-based drones as a potential force multiplier. However, these deployments remain rudimentary and ineffective, highlighting a significant gap compared with Ukraine's systematic, integrated drone-centric operations. As a result, Russian forces continue to rely on infiltration, no matter how high the attrition rate is, which will only make ground drones more needed in the near future. If you would like to explore other key developments today that we couldn't cover in this video, make sure to visit our interactive news map. The link to our interactive map is in the description below. Thank you for watching this update, and a special thanks to everyone already following our interactive map.